Welcome back, everyone. 皆さん、お帰りなさい。今日は約10日目です。It is day 109. We're on the back end of this. I think we have 2-ish days. We've been entering this like staggered form for a while, so the second peak day is fairly short. It's kind of staggered, so they're not all at once because of this. Not too bad. We got a lot from yesterday, right? So let's go over the stuff from yesterday. Lots of stuff. Got my tablet driver. Okay. All right. Yep. That would be it. All right. So we have. Oh, hand, please. Ugh. Omowasu, right? Okay. And omowasu is unintentional or unintentionally. The li, and those are our keys. Then we have ooh, kind of missed the mark there. Holy. Oh my goodness. Is it hot hi hot pure. Oops. That's awful. Yeah, it's fine. Right. Hot pure announcement. Where do we stop here? It's probably this one. Pyo comes pyo next to tsu. Shu. Shu hatsu, right? Shu hatsu. I should make that angle less. Fine. Shu hatsu. Oh, departure. That's still departure. Okay. Next is sick. To get sick. Moo? Moo. How did this work? Oh, yeah. So Yamu. Oh, this one. It's probably the Patsu. Definitely this one. Yamu to get sick. Imaru. It's a key to be decided. Kai. Everything. Kai. That was response. Konnichiwa, Liam. Let's see. Yeah, Kai, and then this is To. Kai To. Reply, answer. Got 3 more. Oops. Buddha. Okay. Oh, Bango Fuda. The typo on here. Number tag. Numbered tag. Radical, right? Oh. Abu. And supporting the neck. Supporting. Shoot. Nihongo deno something. Kai. Let's see. Kaiwa to kamo. Am I studying? To interesting. それとも漢字しか勉強してませんか? You do not study kanji that? I don't think so. Can't actually read the left side of the study kanji. And kai kitsu, I guess. I don't actually know the right of kai either. Okay, and then we have kaiwa. Well, I did say kaiwa, but it's not like I know what kaiwa is. Nash lively meet lively dialogue conversation. Is that what you're trying to say? Anas koto. Okay. Why do I need to speak? Like, do I study dialogue and conversation? Do I study to speak Japanese? Sort of. And that's what you're asking. Not a priority though. Shit. Shikashi. Shikashi. I can't read what I can't read, so the irony here is if you're talking about do I study how to speak Japanese, 90% of the time I'm reading Japanese. And even in this moment, this would be not considered conversation. It would just be reading Japanese. So, I can talk to people with pleasant phrases and whatnot in Japanese, but it's very different when you're trying to read it and talk at the same time. Very different thing. You were just wondering. You were wondering. I think the word just is not the greatest for English. But yeah, it's a good question. Not really. I listen. I don't really speak too much. I speak when I have to ask a question. Generally speaking. Shikashi. 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 Revenge. Getting even. I could have just said, hi, so this to all your questions, right? Without having to explain anything. Trying to get the gist of your questions, but I was more reading for kanji comprehension. Kaiwa, the only reason I got to conversation is using whatever mnemonics I have. So kai involves meeting and wa involves talking to some extent. So if you're meeting to talk, then you're having a dialogue or a conversation. So without knowing what kaiwa is, and I guess it's kaiwa because it's a jukugo, so the read for kai is onyomi read for kai is kai, and then the onyomi for the character is wa. Which is what I'm practicing now. So the problem with the other one is I can't see what the left one of shu is. Yeah, meeting plus talking. And the thing next to shu is not clear to me. Then? Oh. Okay. I don't think I have then yet, but it meant since shu means learn. Since shu means learn, the only thing I can conclude is that do you also practice speaking using conversation in Japanese, right? Renshu, right? I know what renshu sounds like, but I don't know what it looks like consistently. So if you were to actually speak to me, then I would know you said renshu, which is the practice. So renshu suru, right? Renshu shitemasu. But can't read more than I can listen. Listening is far better than reading. So that's why we're using WaniKani right now. We need to expand our. I need to expand my vocabulary in terms of reading as opposed to listening to Japanese. In terms of speaking, I don't really talk to people very often, if you know what I mean. Like, this would not be considered talking. I practice on my... Okay. And then means almost to need into. Oh, okay. So need into studying. Interesting. Yeah. Everything else, we got all the other characters though. That's kind of nice. You started learning Japanese from only kanji as well. I learned Japanese from kana first. So never had anyone to speak to. I see. I learned Japanese from kana first. The Duolingo uses kana for like the first 200 days. And then we start expanding kanji. So we're talking about like 600, like maybe like 5,000 to 6,000 vocabulary by ear. But largely Duolingo converts kana into kanji only after a certain period in their course. And then we're getting there. We're getting there in WaniKani. There's still quite a lot more vocabulary. Like, I'm probably familiar with the sound and structure and arrangement of at least double to triple of where we are right now in WaniKani. But reading is the, studying kanji is the purpose of WaniKani. One of the focuses. It does make guessing what it is pretty okay. I might not respond in Japanese, but reading the sentences are you can guess from context what if your sentences are long enough. So when you ever go to read stuff and listen to people in dialogue, it's pretty okay. Currently, One Piece is pretty fun to watch on a regular basis. Started like about 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we're on like episode 640 or something like that. These are all of my things I need to go over for today from yesterday. Okay, all right, let's hop right into our review. So how long have you been learning Japanese? And what have you been doing with your Japanese? Since you said you never had anyone to speak to, what do you usually do with your Japanese now? Or do you now have somebody? First 500 or so episodes are the best of One Piece? That's interesting. Do you view them in separation? Like, does not the later episodes of One Piece add from the 500? Now you have too many people. Now you have many people to speak to. That's nice. Lovely. How long has your language learning journey been? Alright, I'm gonna be doing my lessons here while my reviews. Like, we're just practicing, so feel free to chime in. I will try to keep my thoughts while we're going about this. That's an interesting statement. The first 500 or so episodes are the best of One Piece. Usually the best episode for me is always the most recent episode. It's generally the most recent episode. Around 8 years of learning Japanese now. I see. You got any stories or anecdotes that might be interesting? Like, for example, I think of serialized anime like life. Your best days are your current days because all of your previous days contribute to your current days. So oftentimes when I'm watching something like that, it's a different mindset compared to like one I forgot what they're called, but one takes. All right. What? Ceremony plus leader substitute.
Dayo.
Ayo. So substitute. Substitution. Personally, you found your language skills to progress rapidly when speaking to other native speakers. I can see that. Language skills in what? Speaking? Or do you mean all your language skills? Kind of tough. How does it affect writing skills? Only to a certain extent. Yeah, I imagine it's capped by whatever you're talking to. Comprehension of speaking. Or does that somehow impact writing as well? May I ask how it affects writing? Let's see. We have gladiator power. Oh, this is Viking, not gladiator. Writing and reading kanji will only get better with studying the kanji. Fair enough. So your comprehension is oral, so the language skills that are away from writing and reading kanji. And in your experience, vocabulary requires many iterations of seeing and using the word. That's fair.
青い
Aoi. Are we sticking with the O here?
Kokogaku
Kokokaku. What do you usually talk to people about? And do the people you talk to also know other languages?
なん、
If your comprehension and ability to understand spoken and written Japanese, or rather the amount of words that you understand, is far greater than the amount of words you actually use when speaking, that I can definitely empathize with that, indeed. I believe that in English, for example, if I were to use English, I use about 25% of the vocabulary that I know in English. And it's not that I don't use the other 75%. I use the other like 25% every once in a while on stream, depending on the topic. And then there's like a 10 to 15% that I will only use when someone asks me a question about specific topics, right? And then verbal communication does not enhance. Like here's why I'm curious about when you say your comprehension, and then you say writing and reading kanji will only get better with studying kanji. The order and construction of writing tends to differ quite a bit when one speaks versus one writes. So if I were to, I haven't spoken a lot to other people in Japanese, but generally speaking, even when I'm writing, when you speak, there's another dimension of kanji arrangement that is only present for English writing as a comparison. When you're writing literature and reading literature, it's that does not overlap with speaking. So when you speak, there's an element that you could get better at when it comes to kanji when you're writing dialogue on piece of paper. But generally speaking, that's in creative writing process. I do a lot of writing, so a lot of times when I'm writing in English, most of that vocabulary is not being used or arranged in that way. Like the word said doesn't come up very often, even though it's a very, very common word. Absolutely. I think it's true of most languages. Literary language does not always equal spoken language. Yeah. So, for now, I have very minimal like conversational dialogue, right? However, I think as part of my lifestyle and the people around me, I'm not seeking to interact with native speakers, so to speak, in a native environment. I'm more into wielding Japanese in order to read dialogue and narration in what I use for content creation. So like there will not be future plans at the moment where like there would be someone who joins me who happens to be speaking in the target language. So a lot of times part of my lifestyle would have to change to meet that. And I'm not one of those people who are learning Japanese in order to change my lifestyle to meet the Japanese fluency. So like I don't plan on going to Japan out of personal investment. Do you have any goals to read novels in Japanese, for instance? I do, for pleasure. So, and I already do that. I already started doing that. But I can't read novels in this format because novels are copywritten. However, I do enjoy reading novels. I started on, so it's twofold. Start on the novel, and it's public access novels. So Not too much. It's like one page at a time. Got what the guy's name is. Occasionally people send me excerpts, and then if it becomes interesting, hang on. Shikipu, Murasaki, Shikipu? I think that's the person's name. Or it might be Bunko, actually. Something by Aozora Bunko. They're in public domain, so it's just pick up a public domain thing and read sentences. Not necessary for pleasure. I haven't read any like novels for pleasure. More like excerpts out of curiosity. I think most of the reading that I get comes from like graphic novels and in the form of video games and whatnot. And I do plan on doing that live, where we take localizations of something that exists in my other languages, and then compare and interact with them in the same way. So then I can enjoy something that I know in many different contexts. It's also the reason why I asked if the people you're talking to speak other languages. My usual interactions with people are people who are multilingual, not necessarily people who dominantly speak one language, whichever it might be, the target language and or a common language that I have. You mostly bilingual people? Do you use both languages when you talk? Like sometimes Nye Gong Beino Wa Dai Beino Wa Gong, but yeah, you can also use English at the same time. Oh, typically English and Japanese. I see. I see. Are you in a place that Japanese is used every day, or do you have some sort of lifestyle that's involved? I read and hear Japanese on a daily basis. I don't speak Japanese on a daily basis. So largely I would have to change my lifestyle a little bit to accommodate the speaking of Japanese. So I'm in no hurry per se to speak Japanese. I typically live in an environment in which I'm reading and listening to Spanish, Japanese, and Chinese. So hence the three languages. And then English is used as the common language for all those situations. May I ask, do you speak another language as well? Or have you wanted to speak another one? I often find that sometimes when you get comfortable with two, it's like, hey, why not three? And so on.
何回
You're currently learning Russian. Oh, how's that going?
広がる
Hard? How did you feel when you started Japanese? Harder than Japanese, was it? Oh, you were already prepared to answer that question. I see. Harder than Japanese was at the beginning. Intriguing. Do you remember being 8 years ago? I always find this very curious. How if people are attached to their emotions far back, mainly due to lack of study material. Oh, I can imagine. Actually, that is a fair point. That is a very fair point. I don't see Russian as a like trendy, double down pop culture relevance. Yeah, I would say the incentive for the production, like the production of study materials, would be um, dramatically smaller than Japanese. Like, Chinese has less study materials than Japanese, and it's disproportionately, um, disproportionately spoken to its population. With Japanese, for instance, there's an abundance of media watchable. Yes, because of its pop culture relevance. Yeah, for sure. Chinese has other geopolitical reasons as well. That keeps it, even though the disproportionate amount of diaspora around, not so much either. N- uh, Definitely more than Russian, I would have to wager, but definitely less than Japanese in the current time. It's also coincidentally the parallelisms I'm drawing is Russian Chinese relations with an Americanized internet is they happen to be the trifecta where there's a lot of geopolitics involved in how much exposure of media and relational things when it comes to the internet, for example. My experience with like Russian like things, like other Russian people, like Russians and whatnot, comes from like a really, really old game called Neverwinter Online, and that has segregation between the two. And then my experience that parallels that when it comes to media and watchable content and stuff, well, China is separate too. So they happen to be the two that ends up being in a conversation when it comes to studying. And then Japanese is open, right? Open with whatever we find in media and watchable. Intriguing. So how are you going about that? You used to play a lot of Dota, which had a large Dota. Yes. Yes. Dota. That is a very good one. Uh do they have separate, did they segregate the servers, or do you just happen to have people who are willing to play on the servers outside? Or is it one global server for Dota? Yeah, lots of my video games that I played from way back till now, oftentimes it's segregated between Russia, China, and the United States, and then sometimes Japan. Some of the ones also have Japanese servers and then global servers. They kind of have less opportunities, but in Japan, it's no longer really that big. Like there's no like huge firewall or segregation when it comes to interacting with other people. Yeah, servers are segregated by location, but you can choose servers to use. Okay, okay. I think the earliest time that I've ever gamed with, like, participated in a game with internationals, like on a really large scale, was probably World of Warcraft when I was still in my 20s, my early 20s. Maybe StarCraft. Maybe StarCraft, actually. But they were more Europeans, like Western Europeans than Eastern, and or Russia. How do you go about doing your Russian studies then, Liam? Uh, let's see. Walk, go. Bido. Oh, wait. Uda. Gete. Dasai. Oh, no, agete. No. Agete. That doesn't help. Walk. Go. Fine. Let's think about what it sounds like first. Mostly through trying to read at the moment and studying the grammar because that is the most interesting thing to you at the moment. Yeah. I can definitely relate to whatever doing things whatever is most interesting at the moment. Yeah, the way I'm going about Japanese is largely through interest and overlap of like all the things that are going on that's outside of Japanese. Like, not strictly. Most of the things are related, but they're not related to the progress of Japanese in specific areas. May I ask what your educational background is outside of like language? Do you integrate language into your profession somehow? Whatever will motivate you to continue to learn in any way possible. Indeed. I should write this. We have walk plus go. Your job is entirely different, merely a hobby. I see. So no opportunities to use your Japanese at your job, or again, toss it in there somewhere. Oh wait, that's what's wrong. It's run plus go. Sorry, my Chinese is that's why that sound is not hitting here. It's run so
走行
Solko. Run plus go. Traveling. Yeah, traveling. That's a weak one. Just writing it. Gotta write it down.
Buta
But, You work as a helicopter mechanic, so no language skills are needed at your current responsibilities. You know, that's really funny that you talk about a helicopter mechanic. I met someone only briefly, but they were a pilot as well. And they were learning Japanese too. Man. And then I think I've met, like, I'm currently talking to someone on and off who's in the Air Force. Like, Is there something going on here that I don't understand? What's up with people and operating avian vehicles? I don't talk to a lot of people regularly, so that's a really odd coincidence. Secretly, you're all bilingual Japanese English speakers. I'm kidding, but that's a really funny coincidence. Not that being part of the Air Force means that you would operate a flying vehicle, but it is pretty funny. Helicopter mechanic. And being a mechanic, right? But I can't begin to imagine what it is like being a helicopter mechanic. Oh, may I ask, tell me something that you feel is a constant like generalization, but you find it funny because the reality is like maybe not what you expect. Like, for example, I'll give an example from my professional background, or my former professional background. You don't kill viruses. So that's what I mean. Like the funny phrases that you hear about. I'm not sure how often people talk about helicopters though. Honestly, I don't know a lot about helicopters at all. Oh, maybe movie things. You know, the depiction of helicopters in movies or something. Like one of the things that I would say is most of the time the description of how viruses work, there's some hot takes. Like one is quote unquote killing a virus. Often people will assume I also know how to pilot a helicopter. Oh, so do you? Do you know how to pilot a helicopter? No? Oh. Do you ever desire to pilot a helicopter? Well, the skill required to pilot a helicopter you don't have. I see. But you have been in a helicopter. You can pilot one in a simulator. Oh. Is that like a proprietary thing, or how does the simulator work? Let's see. Three. This is week 2. So treasure. Ooh, let's see. Pretty sure this is lottery. And I'm getting stuck on the roof. Not required for your work. Pilot is a whole different profession. I see. I was like, I basically just skipped over the mechanic part. Simulators for pilots are much like driving sims. Ah, okay. So what particularly, how does helicopter mechanics go about their day? Do you constantly have things to work on when it comes to I imagine that also, does that include manufacturing as well and construction, or is that a technically a different profession as well? Tackler, right? I think tackler is the keyword here. Tackler, tackler. How does tackler end up being takara? Oh, yes. Takarakuji.
宝くじ
This is definitely lottery, but takarakuji. How did we get takara off this? Where are you? It's off takara. It is tackler. Not the greatest. It's our only tackler as well. I don't really like that. Fine. I know that takara is kunyomi. Depends on the company, but they also operate much like car mechanic shops. I see. Yeah, I'm aware that it's kunyomi. In this structure, it would typically use kunyomi. That's not the question I was asking. I was more asking for Mnemonic, but that's because of WaniKani. I'm not sure if you learned kanji in a similar way. How did you go about learning kanji back then? Or still do? I'm not sure. You possibly, in 8 years, I imagine you've gone through many different iterations on how you remember kun, on, and all that stuff. You learn kanji with Anki. That's not, so flashcards, that's not quite enough to tell me what the methodology is to. Yeah, so I'm familiar with Anki and flashcards. Actually, this would be very reminiscent of that, but the method. So when you said takara is kunyomi, that for me in this structure it would come after. I already knew it's kunyomi. I'm looking for the explainer on what mnemonic I used for takara. I'm not sure what order or way when you were using Anki in remembering things. Your method was to create a mnemonic with both the onyomi and kunyomi, and also the radical breakdown of each kanji. To, like, together? All of it in a singular mnemonic? I like that. It's kind of... do want to unify them at some point. I see. All in a single mnemonic? I am definitely a fan of that. That's how a little bit more closer to my preference. Yeah. Apparently is after these 100 days.
同じ
Apparently is my preference. Because of Hansuhiro. Not WaniKani though. WaniKani ended up doing something different.
金
小文字
Koichi. So what brings you around this neck of the woods? Do you occasionally hang out with peeps who are learning Japanese? You enjoy chilling and talking about Japanese with language learners? As opposed to like chilling. How often do you do this?
作る
Dude. For instance, then you had a word for the right side radical meaning of the radical. Yep, I see. And a word for the left side radical meaning of the radical, and you would incorporate both of those into a mnemonic with the kun and the on. Yeah, and then the meaning of the word itself. Yep. Yeah. Hudson Hero prefers to use that approach, which is inspired out of the K6 handbook, which I did not read, by the way. Just that's what they reference it. And then WaniKani doesn't do that, so we're kind of trying it out, keeping separate things. Yeah, Hanzi Hero, and then they did one layer on top for Pinyin. Pinyin ends up being a Lego. They broke up the reeds into a Lego structure as well. So then you have the reeds broken up and the characters broken up, and then unifying all the reeds together and the meaning of the word together. And then for vocabulary, then those things that form those characters lock into place. Yeah, so they did one on top of that. But you don't like how they make the mnemonics for you, as it's hard to memorize if you didn't expressively create it. I agree. It's not really about like. The nice thing about the way they designed it is you alter it to your liking. So it's kind of like saying they gave you something and you're freely allowed to change it yourself. So it's extra, not mandatory. So I find that it's kind of like you don't like something that's already offered to you, but you can already do the task yourself. So I prefer that I see what the person is making, and then I change it into the image of my necessity. WaniKani is a little bit harder because we're kind of figuring out the cipher for them, and then I create I bring some of their mnemonics into the way I form my associations. So a little bit of column A and a little column B. But I totally understand the whole expressively creating the things. Yeah. And effort in, effort out. I like taking inspiration as well. So inspiration can be helpful in elevating your own form of expression.
Omoji.
Omoji.
Ryugaku.
Ryugaku. Reason you started watching was because you felt you needed to brush up on your kanji? Oh. Do you like writing at all? I find it's incredibly relaxing to watch calligraphy. So, unfortunately I don't have like, I can't manipulate that here, but it's always kind of fun to watch people write calligraphy of the kanji. It's like, oh yeah, like I need to brush up on my kanji, so let's just go watch someone make fancy kanji. Of course, there's also like kanji art, which that can get a little hairy because I don't read it quite well enough for fancy like typographical stylization kanji. Hmm. You're taking an arrow to the mouth? Prototypic word here. Can I grab a prototypic word? Let's see. Arrow. Mouth. Probably no. Arrow to the mouth. Oh. Ah! Oh. I didn't go with that. Oh, okay. Hold up. Oh, wait. Fine. It's cheese. Cheese is the cipher here. Oh, this one's a bit. This one's special.
Yuki.
Yeah. このバスはシャイトル夏タイトルです。Do a 50-50 here. No, this one's weak. Let's write this down too. So we have go. Let's see. I know it's special. So let's say 50-50 train directions. Do you enjoy any particular Japanese media, Liam? What are you doing with Japanese media these days? What are you consuming? Train directions. Oh. Oh, I think this one is the one that doesn't change.
十分
That they're referring to. Yeah, Jubun. This. Oh. Mostly just cooking YouTube videos until recently. Oh, cooking videos. May I ask, do you have any particular ones? I used to, when it came to, they didn't really speak Japanese in it, but the person is Japanese. And that was June's Kitchen. I still remember that. His it had a very, without saying too much, a very Japanese feel to it. It was quite serene. But no, like there wasn't. He doesn't speak in it very much. And then if he does, he used English. So that was way back, quite a bit back. Imakure. Fuku. Interesting. Do I know that? Or I might recognize that. I watch a lot of, I tend to dabble a lot in cooking things, and it does go through a lot of them. Is there something recognizable about this particular channel or creator that would stick out very, very obviously? ALPTN1, what the? Oh,
できる
Dekiru. Close enough.
仕方がない
Kata ga nai. Oops, I've got the ED. Oh. Like that was Chinese. Whoops. Uh,
好き
You also read Japanese wiki sites and novels. If you had what is a particular novel that sticks out? May I have like somewhat of a description of the novel? What is the novel like? I think when it comes to books, like if I had to read a book like soonish, I would probably read these books by the author. He's a content creator first though. Like I know him as a content creator before his books, but he was an author before then. Kyota. I don't remember his last name. I want to say it's something like Kyota Ko or something. But since recently he has become quite popular and he releases books on Japanese culture. And they're bilingual, or like what I mean is they're translated in 3 languages, includes Spanish as well. So you might end up reading about Japanese culture, ancient or contemporary, what have you. He's a more of a cultural writer of sorts, quite trendy. See what his last name is. Yeah, Ko. Kyota Ko. You're partway through a mythology book. Oh, dang. Oh, honto wa nihon no soul plus, okay. Probably something language. I see. Oh no, not honto. Oh yeah, honto. So Japan, real Japan. What is the last couple things? Hawaii. Oh, scary. Oh. Oh, so that's scary. Okay. Hawaii wa nashi. I see. Oh, Shinwa. Still not those tale stories. Oh. Oh, Shin. Oh, no. Okay. Shinwa. So something about like scary tales. Scary, really scary Japanese tales or something. Or scary Japanese tales. Kind of like ghost stories. Oh god. Oh. Oh. Oh, interesting. How is it? What type of mythology is it? You might be thinking like, well, it's Japanese mythology, but Japanese mythology has tales about gods. I see. About gods. What type of gods are we talking about here? It's interesting, but lots of hard, not commonly used, I imagine, Japanese kanji. It's like recently Black Myth Wukong, right? Black Myth Wukong came out, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's exciting that people like that might break open the interest in Mandarin and whatnot. And my first thought was, well, it might, but generally, when you're listening to that Chinese that they're using in Black Myth Wukong, it's mythology, and or folktale, and uh, most of the stuff they're swaying back and forth. They're talking like a lot of times it deals with rivers, forests, flows, and energy, and like mountainscapes while trying to convey energy, opposition, conflict. And my thought was, yep, yeah, that's Chinese mythology for you. So and those words sound great, but that's not usually how it sounds. So that's my analogy to how your comment about hard, not commonly used Japanese kanji. When you see the subtitles on the bottom, like yep. I don't mind listening to it because I'm used to listening to standard Mandarin, but when you're looking at the subtitles where it shows what characters they used and like how it's laid out in Chinese, I'm obviously still at beginning because I was illiterate most of the time. My first thought was, no, that didn't get any. No, nope. Still don't know most of that. I might be able to like pick out a few of the things, but generally speaking, in the context that they arranged it, and then the really key characters are like, I don't know. Like why is this river character next to like down, like you would think this is downstream, but what the person is conveying is something else. Am I fluent in spoken Mandarin? Not standard Mandarin. I mimic standard Mandarin. So probably one thing that I want to clarify, fluency requires construction, and I don't really construct spoken Mandarin. I don't have opportunities to. I speak Fujianese most of the time. 我不可以说，我中文不好。However, 福州话我会讲的，我会讲福州话。冇加拿大讲福州话，但福州话跟普通话也没两样呢。冇可能会听普通话跟福州话跟普通话差一样。So, largely not so much, but the Fujianese dialect is prime, just like almost exclusively spoken. So, if you were to say you know Fujianese, you would have to speak it. So it's kind of like one of those things. Like, well, unfortunately, if you wanted to learn it, you're going to have to speak and listen to it. You can make an attempt to write it using standard Mandarin, and that's fine. That involves learning standard Mandarin. So that's why I'm also stacking on to Mandarin. In terms of Mandarin fluency, like, it's mimicry. I'm more of a parrot. And the nice thing about Mandarin that I always talk about is when you're having a conversation in Mandarin, it's a zero-fold response. So oftentimes when you're talking to someone, if you can mirror them and then know your, I would say 100 to 200 sounds, like character arrangement, vocabulary sounds and whatnot, you hearing someone and then mirroring them is quite excellent. And it feels closer to Anki and SRS and whatnot in Chinese. Japanese to a lesser extent, and in English is, off the deep end to the other end, and Spanish is as well. But Chinese response, it's like 你可以说中文吗？你可以说中文吗？对，我可以说中文。Right? So if like a stranger comes up to you, or like my parents come up to you and say 你可以说中文, you could say 对, like yes, I can, or はい, right? わかりました。But わかりました would not be in the question that person's asking, but in Chinese it would be. So you would say, you're basically saying, yes, I speak Chinese. The answer response in Mandarin is nearly overlapping all the time. So it's like kind of reading out Anki, your flashcard, and then the flashcard reads it out for you, and you hear it, and you read it back, and you add one word. So in Chinese, a lot of my Mandarin speaking ability is still retained, but there's no leading construction. So I'm not fluent in the sense that I would go up to my parents and lead the conversation. However, if they're leading a conversation, I have no problems replying to them and like listening to it and then replying, because most of the words are used whenever it's directed towards you. All the words are already in the stuff. So like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Oftentimes Japanese, or more often Japanese, you're responding and conjugating in a different tense, and like even if the words are the same, you have to change and do the conjugation and stuff. In Chinese, there isn't that at all. So when someone says oh sorry, I'm using Fujianese. 你吃了饭了吗? Right? Have you eaten yet? And you're like, 不对, like 不，我不吃了饭了. Like the thing is, the responses are all in it already. So when you respond, a lot of times you just get used to hearing all the words and producing all the words again back, which is very convenient. I actually don't know what type of fold response Japanese is technically considered, but in Chinese is one of those languages that have a zero fold thing. So basically you do not change anything when responding back. And it's kind of neat. I think that's one of my little plugs for you might as well go and listen to some dialogue in Chinese, because it sounds like they say the same thing twice. The person who asked the question might have said, like, the person who's answering the question says about nearly the same thing the person who asked the question, to remove all doubts. Like in English, you would replace it with like pronouns and different things, like, hey, have you gone to the movie yet? Have you seen this movie yet? Oh, I've seen it. And then you have to infer what it is. Instead, in Chinese would be, have you seen this movie yet? I have seen this movie. Yes, I have seen this movie. You don't have to change anything. You don't even have to add yes or no. If someone says, have you seen this movie? You say, I have seen this movie. Like, but you don't, the only thing that changes the pronoun, but everything else has to be repeated. And it's very normal to do that. While in, I would say, maybe less common in Japanese, but in English, it would simplify the response somehow with using different words. Like, have you seen the movie yet? Oh yeah, I've seen it. And then the movie disappears. Like the vocabulary word for movie just disappears. So what I typically find oftentimes in English when I'm speaking to other people, when I ask a detailed question, the response loses all that detail. In Chinese, they typically retain almost all that detail. If you were like really talking, it's more normal to repeat all the details. It sounds pedantic in English. You think it depends on the social standing relation to the person you're speaking to? In Japanese? Are you talking about in Japanese? And it is that dependence that I'm saying it's more so in China, like not dependent on it. If you are friends or family, yeah. So hear me out. Hear me out though. In Chinese, it's normal, both friends and like it's far more common to keep one standard of response. So like you do not do casual, like it's not a big distinction between casual or not casual. There's no like oftentimes it's a repeat of the question. I think this is different from the idea of being short with someone, but it's difficult to I guess explain from using Chinese for a while, but it's related to why I'm having a lot more difficulty answering your are you fluent in spoken Mandarin, because it's very difficult to know if my Mandarin production is okay or not in this case. Partially because having a conversation is very different from going about reading and creating in Mandarin. I don't think the measure of conversation is very obvious in Mandarin compared to Japanese. Like, if you ask, it's kind of one of those things, that feeling when someone says like, oh, genki desu, and you're like, genki desu. But I think even in a stranger way and whatnot, that's the closest thing I can say, and then have that be the normal. Like when you say, oh, genki desu, and then you just say genki. and then have that be most things. Most questions are like that. I don't get that feeling from Japanese. It varies. It depends. It depends on your relations. It's very common. It's far more common and less dependent on variations. I repeat what my parents say whenever they ask me a question. Like, have you done the bills? I have done the bills. Not, I have done them. Even though I'm very familiar with my family member. And then a stranger would say, have you done the bills? I have done the bills. So you learn the vocabulary bill. Bill gets repeated twice. I think that ties back into what I said earlier about understanding more than what you can produce during a conversation. Yes. It does tie back to that. Yes. And I'm suggesting that in Chinese, when you're speaking, you typically produce a closer distance to what you can comprehend. When it comes to the sound, when someone's leading the conversation. Sometimes the idea of understanding more than what you can produce often comes at the cost of you're not producing what you can comprehend. Or in a conversation, and in Chinese is less so, because the gap is not as wide. When you're talking to someone, you have to repeat, or you're very commonly accepted to repeat the same thing they're saying back. So you have to you produce that again back to them. It's very reflexive to remove like doubt and inference or implicit nature of things. So if you don't know what a 水果 is, you can still produce it back and eventually have to associate 水果 with fruit. 你喜欢水果吗？对对，我喜欢水果。As opposed to 我喜欢, like I like. You can just say, you technically could just say I like. Like, do you like fruits? I like. Instead of saying I like fruits. But to me, I think more often than not, you say I like fruits back. So you learn how to produce 水果. And that's how I kept Fujianese intact. So Fujianese is a dialect I speak with my parents, follows the same kind of like cultural patterns, I suppose, familial patterns. So whenever they say something, I say it back, and it's kind of like doing this type of exercise where, oh, I heard it once, I say it back. And then you become more like what I would call a parrot, an imitator. So my Mandarin fluency, if you call it that, is I have no problems pronouncing and speaking a lot of these things, right? But my comprehension is no more than my production of it's like a parrot. You can imitate sounds, but you might not ascribe meaning to them. And heritage speaking is very prominent. Is very prominently consistent when you have Chinese diaspora, where people are like, oh yeah, I understand what my parents are saying, and if I hear them say it, I can produce it. But I'm not gonna go out and use that language. I would ask an English question, they would say it in Chinese, then I would use Chinese back to them, because now I have a point of reference for the language. Meanwhile, I feel when I'm talking in Japanese or trying to talk in Japanese, you would have to produce something, produce a response appropriate for that other response. And that leads to variations of stuff like 大丈夫です. You could do that in Chinese, but it comes off as maybe not culturally normal. Like saying it's okay the whole time. Like es verdad, you know, está bien, está bien. Claro, honto, right? Honto or honto desu ka? That kind of thing. You get that to some extent, I guess, to a lesser extent. Saying like it's okay to everything or all right to everything sounds more like it does have some familial things. It's like saying bro. Someone asks you a question and you just respond with bro the entire time. It's a little weird. Not universal, not like everything, but we're talking about like tendencies. Something like if you ask, did you eat yet? And you say yes. Okay. Got it. This person must be a different type of person, like have a different background, right? That depends comes up. However, for me, it would be, yes, I ate already. In English, it would be my parents would say like, did you eat yet? Yes, I ate already. I would have to like say most of the things again. I think the natural thing is like the hajimemashite, right? Hajimemashite, and then someone reflexively say hajimemashite back. But then in Japanese, it's in Japanese, you're saying the same thing again. So if someone comes up to me, like a Japanese person comes up to me and say hajimemashite, and then I just say hajimemashite, and then we're good. We're good. But I think there are situations where when, like in Japanese, if someone asks you, oh, how are you, how are you doing today? I am doing all right today. Or like, did you read this book? Yes, I have read this book. Did you like this scene? I did like this scene. So you sound more like a parrot than anything, and I feel uncomfortable in English speaking like that, but in Chinese it's like, oh, okay, that's normal, or that's what I think is normal. And my parents sound like that when they're talking to their guests and stuff. Oh yeah, it's great weather today. Yes, it's great weather today. Like, man, it's so hot today. Man, it's so hot today. The difference between closed-ended questions versus open-ended questions. Yeah, exact. Yeah. And there's a great difference between open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. And I think when it comes to asking questions, I feel like I get more exposed to closed-ended questions a lot of times in Chinese because it's straight to business. It's kind of weird. Like my parents don't say like, how was your school day? They would say, is your school day good? Like, yes, my school day is good. It's a interesting idiosyncrasy, I would say, but not that they don't ask open-ended questions. The higher frequency is they make assumptions through pragmatism. Now, I'm not sure what it's like in China though. It's very presumptuous. Chinese question asking, in my opinion, from what I gathered when I hear other people interact with each other, is they're Chinese people, or like they tend to be on the same page when when asking because it's so tightly expected and arranged. So school, they want you to say school is good. So they ask you, did school go well today? And then you either say no, school didn't go well, or yes, school went well. And you say exactly the most of the words that they have already said, with the change in negating, which is boo. That's it. You just boo it. There's no like masen, there's no conjugation in Chinese. So you just say boo. That's it. Like you negate the whole thing. So you end up saying all the syllables or all the sounds in the production, and you learn one mechanic, which is boo. Or 没有. There are a couple of ways to like situationally negate something, but you don't add extra word, you don't change up the words. The entire framing and phrase ends up being very, very similar. So while I was reading your Japanese, I'm like, okay, so yeah, all right, so that's the negative of that. So okay, so you're asking, do I? That's a question. In Chinese, no conjugations. No conjugations. The how do you add, like, how do you convert something commonly into a question? You could add boo in the middle of two versions of the same verb. So like 处不处, right? 你来不来? So 来 is to come, which is a die. This one. Nice. Mouse drawing. 来, so to come, right? So when you're saying 来 is come, but 来不来 is come, question mark. So 你来不来? Oh, 我来了. That's it. So the actual character is still in the question, and you generally use the same thing again back. Meanwhile, in Japanese, you might say, are you coming? And then you say, you could say, oh, I'm going with you, or something like that. But if you're gonna say I'm going with you, you're still going to use this probably. And then something like, oh, when are you gonna arrive, is still lie. There's no like present progressive or future tense of lie. It's still lie. I don't know if I'm making a great case for learning Chinese, but I think someone who's very interested in Japanese, it's a really wonderful way to explore your Japanese with Mandarin. That's what I've come to realize. I honestly did not process these things very often because, you know, native speaking often makes you take these things for granted. You use shika plus negative verb form. Yeah. And in Chinese, you use lie. Like, honestly, Liam, I think your 8 years of Japanese, you can probably tell me so many funny things comparing, contrasting Japanese and Chinese. Because if I can tell these things in the first, like, it's been I would say cumulatively, it's been like less than 1 year of work, right? It's so interesting to go from English, which uses like heckin' articles everywhere and whatnot, and then, you know, my foray into Spanish, which is like gender everywhere and stuff. Then Japanese have like this kind of a little bit more streamlined version of that, and then you go to Chinese and you strip away and streamline even more. Now you don't even conjugate. Oh, and because of the reason you don't conjugate, while you can place certain things in different places, usually there's an even set order. Like time always goes in the beginning, right? And I agree, Japanese kind of does that too. right? But instead of it being like you can be creative about it and whatnot, infer things a little bit in the middle or in the end. In Chinese, you get to the point where it constantly sounds like you're saying the same thing over and over again with some slight variation. I understand that people don't like or they hyper focus. They hyper focus on the tonality, like, oh yeah, Chinese have tones, and if you want to produce, you need to be used to the tonal language. But I think it's super interesting when you're reading. I'm focusing on reading Mandarin because I'm illiterate. You think Mandarin also uses the in almost the same way Japanese does? Yes. Yes. The where it's like it's there functionally, and when you read it, it's like it's just there. It's there. Like not the word there, but it's a functional thing. That's the closest thing to like a particle per se possible. And I have this really terrible habit of adding the everywhere. Like when all else fails, put the in between something. Like um I don't know, 电脑的 screen. So the computer screen. So it's like it functions as no there. And then when you say like 我的, then it functions as the no possessive. And then, you know, 老师, I don't know, 英文的老师, that's not, some people don't do that, but the idea is, well, it makes sense even if you put it in there. I'm very laxed about language, so if something sounds unnatural and funny, I embrace it. So I like people. I hope that doesn't put other people off, but I tend to have this very interpretive approach to language. Being exact is not quite my thing. So that isn't an excuse to learning and constantly trying to improve on it. But when I speak, it's like very loose. And Japanese, my particles are, sometimes I put no in places and ga and ni in places. It's takes time. But the is something that replaces all of those. Ja replaces all the other things too. So ja, the, ma replaces all the wonderful things about being relaxed or being okay with making mistakes is the best way to learn. I agree. Like mostly the best way. Like some people wouldn't like saying it as the thing, but for me, I truly do believe that's, you have to be relaxed, willing to take chances, and then go from there. Yeah, definitely feel free to join along. It's a shame about Russian though. I have been asked about Russian a couple of times. Did I already ask you what is it about Russian? What brings you to Russian? It is very different. So there's that. Or like a Slavic language, right? Slavic of origin. That's a great way to complement having something on the west and the east, and then grabbing a great new dimension. If anything, Chinese is like adjacent to Japanese. So if you're a language enthusiast, I can totally understand from like a linguistic perspective. Russian is very different. And then there's, I don't know what you call that region, but the other one where you use, it kind of looks like Sanskrit kind of thing going on too. So like the really dramatically different looking. You've always loved the way it sounds, so you enjoy listening to it. Ah, okay. I'm trying to think how often I hear Russian. I think the most Russian that I hear is whenever I watch a beatboxing thing. Because there's a scene. Mongolia? I don't know what Mongolian looks like. Oh, Mongolian. Written language. Oh yeah, that stuff. Yeah, Mongolian. Yeah, that stuff. I always imagine it. Yeah. Is it always vertical like that, or can it be? I'm guessing these things can be written both vertical and horizontal, right? Yeah, that stuff. Cyrillic like things. Apparently, that's what it's called. I do not have terminology for any of these types of like writing groups or something, but apparently it says Cyrillic. It's only written vertically. Oh, what is the horizontal version? Or am I thinking like Arabic or something? Yeah. Oh, and like that Arabic kind of thing too. Those like really swirly things. I guess Korean is an anomaly too. I as well. But I don't have any exposure to that type of writing. So that type of representation. And we're strictly talking about writing, like depictions of writing, as opposed to sounds and stuff. I have a different perspective on sound. Sound comes off as more like music. In Japanese, oh, is that how you say vertical and horizontal writing? Oh yeah, because yoko, I see it. Yoko, the second one has yoko, so it's side to side. And then I'm guessing the first one is vertical. Yeah, I see yoko, and then you reading. Okay. So side read. Okay, side read, and huh. I didn't get the left character yet for a vertical. Nice. What is, I guess, how you read them out? What is the kana for those two? We'll go and do some of these reviews. Well,
金玉
Intama, Yokoyomi, and Tate. Oh, Tate Yomi. I see, I see. Sorry, did it? No. It's perfectly fine. Oh, before this has happened, you probably will. You probably can imagine how this happened. You don't need to apologize. Like I like trying to juggle the two, and I wouldn't be streaming otherwise. So this is a pleasure, by the way. It's a fantastic. I like talking during the study. I'm not sure if you find this relatable, but this helps me focus. So, something that I do a lot of times is I talk about things that are related as to keep myself focused on the task. So, if one doesn't talk about something related, then I often end up losing focus on the task. So, you could kind of call it like a deficit practice, like attention practice. But I'm quite focused, so no worries. Study is typically optional, and you know, people are first. Study is second. If I were doing a job, then yeah, I totally understand that. But this is not an obligation, but a hobby. What is someone asked me this, and I want to ask you this, right? Oh, konbanwa, Gecko-san. How am I doing? Doing pretty well. Estoy bien. ¿Y tú? Oh, are you getting ready for your... yeah, like Gecko can speak for me, I suppose. Like the whole feeling of distracting me from my studies. It really isn't. I mean, if I didn't want to be distracted, I would probably not share it online and be streaming it. Maybe I would even record myself and not do the whole live streaming thing. So I really appreciate it though. Liam, I can tell you now, all of this very, very regular and common. Like Gecko here, who now I have to wonder when he's gonna go on vacation. Oh, speaking of which, Gecko knows Japanese. Gecko knows Japanese. He also knows French because he's a weirdo. Hoy fue mi último día de trabajo. Trabajo antes de mis vacaciones. Oh, nice. Más bueno. That's okay. Awesome. Honto desu ka? Yeah, that's awesome. So, when are you heading off? Yeah. ¿Cuándo? Let's say, ¿cuándo está salir tus vacaciones? Tus vacaciones? Oh, and also Liam, feel free to throw in some Japanese. You can tax Gecko for his Japanese because you know he's far more than I am. Fire. Oh. Ayobi. Interesting. Ayobi, what's today? Friday? Wow, that's really fast. Friday, huh? Getting on the plane on Friday. That sounds awesome. I forgot how to say like great in Spanish. Qua, I don't know. Qua. That's a great question. Gecko told me where he's going. Like Gecko can definitely he has a weird itinerary, Liam. He has a weird itinerary. Oh, sorry. Yeah, on Tuesday. Yeah, today is Friday. Yeah. Did I say today is Friday or wait, did I say it backwards? I was looking at my calendar and I said, "Oh, it's Friday." I think you might have misunderstood me. Or I might have said it backwards. I read that you said you were going on Tuesday, but I looked at my calendar and I asked myself, what's today? It's Friday. Not as in it's Friday is when you leave, but sorry. I'm not sure if that was clear. I think you said I was leaving on Friday, but it's all good. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure if I had to replay it, it was a little confusing, but I read that you said Kayobi, and I'm like, oh, okay. What day is it? And I said, oh, it's Friday. Not when you're leaving, but I'm saying I realized that today is Friday, and not that your leave. Kayobi is Friday. Kayobi is Tuesday. Yeah, it's all good. And then I said it was soon, but we'll see. We'll see. It could be a mix because we're trying to speak multiple languages, but when I said Tuesday, I said Kayobi. And then when I was saying Friday, I was saying the calendar of today. Yeah. Liam asked where you were going. Try explaining that easily in Japanese. Actually, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it in Japanese. Explaining your trip. Your convoluted trip.
Kyugaku.
Yugaku. I don't think you can write it this way, huh? Like, maybe they want like absence from studies. How do you word this in English? Rest from studies? Study. Wait, hold up. Yeah, like. I don't know how they want to phrase this. The spend. Wait, hold up. I'll get this. How do I... Reading break? Oh, maybe they'll take reading break? It's something like maybe taking absence. No, I already wrote absence from study. Study break? Rest from study. There. Oh no. I know. Oh, yeah, I can get this. But I already know what it means. It's just there's specific wording. Oh. Wait. Let's not absence from study, but absence from school. Oh, school. Okay, so they use school instead. All right, that's fair enough. But it's also like taking a break from study. Like, that's you know what we're saying. Kirisu, America. Oh, you went with the list version. Okay. Nice. Well said. I thought Gecko was gonna go and say, well, I'm gonna go here, then I'm gonna go from here to here, then go from here to here, then from here to here, but that's actually very well apt to list the places and just go about it.
工学
工学。
年下
年下。Okay. Okay.
今年
今年。Wait, why does that sound weird?
学年
学年。
何人
何人。Do they take? No. Or sorry. They're wailing. Don't mind me.
主人
雨
雨。So, ¿estás listos para tus vacaciones, Gecko? I'm just like adding to the volume. What the heck? Oh, partner. Moto partner.
元パートナ
Moto partner.
ー切れる
What? How's this? Oh, I'm thinking of Kiru. Oh, this is, I'm thinking of Kiru.
学生 大学
I'm in my element, just watching, reading other people
学ぶ
conversations. Well, that was Chinese.
Unique.
Unique. Okay.
走る
Yeah.
他の人
他の人
年上
年上 No estoy listos para mis vacaciones. ¿Por qué? Tengo que hacer las maletas este fin de semana. Okay. Alright. Te entiendo. For shame, not ready yet. Jeez. Dos maletas? Do you travel light or do you travel heavy? How do you pack for such a long time? Like, what do you even pack? Oh, I guess I packed for a month before. Huh. And the whole family? Jeez. That's a lot of luggage. It comes from the name Holland, maybe the old name for Netherlands. Holanda. Dutch. Yeah, I see. What is bright? Oh. Do they want like what? Fine. We'll just use Pete. Let's just use cheap. But what did they have? Relax? Okay. Nike. Oh. Ayo.
Sato.
Sato. In Dutch, isn't the name Nederlund? I guess that's to gecko. I don't know. Okay, that's fair. That makes sense. About the Dutch is Netherlands in Dutch. I see. It's like Deutschland, right? Wait, what's Germany in Japanese? Did they go off de or Deutsch, or did they use like ego? Yep, I officially nonchalantly strong-armed and coerced Liam into learning Chinese. Oh yeah, right, Deutsche. Of course it was Deutsche. Yes, Deutsch. Nice. Yeah, Dugwall. Dugwall is ended up what Chinese was, which is just the duh in Deutsch, and then Guo is koku or kuni, kuni. So the kuni, Dugwall. And then I just completely spaced out. I'm like, what did Japanese use? Because Spanish is alemán. I actually have no idea why it's alemán. Maybe Gecko knows. Gecko, do you know why? Maybe it's off like also French as well, like the Romance languages. Why is it alemán? Or Alemania? Alemania. Ia being the ending for the place. Kind of like Francia, but Francia is France, but Alemán, no idea. Now we're just throwing languages everywhere, willy-nilly. In before Gecko breaks out his French, and I'm like, oui? Germany is Allemagne in French. Oh my, okay. Interesting. Yeah, so it's a romance thing. It's a romance thing. Interesting. Even though, you know, like, it's a romance thing, but Germany's Germanic, and then we have English, so English is Germanic to a lot of extent too. And then there's that whole thing about English having increasingly more of the romance variety compared to the Germanic variety, but the foundations of English is largely Germanic. So that's Aleman. It's like interesting. Well, one day, Gecko is just gonna say something in French, and I'm gonna be like, "Yes, exactly, oui." That's it. And then it's gonna be something like, "Are you an idiot?" It's like, oui." I have still haven't decided if there's a chance we're just gonna squeeze in some like really low level French here and there, just so I can throw in some French words. Because right now, while you guys are chilling during this time zone, SD, who speaks Spanish, Dominican Spanish, who's in the United States right now, is studying French, and we talk a lot about Spanish and French quite a bit. Like French at a distance while using Spanish as the base. Interesting. You consider starting Russian at some point. Then the Ukraine war started and you suddenly Russian felt less cool. Oof. Yeah. Still interested in the language though. You know, language and politics are not the same thing. Yeah, but I just which by the way, Gecko, Liam and I recently we did involve that. The availability of like language tools and resources are impacted by geopolitics. So I was talking about like when Liam made the thing, it's difficult to learn Russian because the resources are not as plentiful as Japanese, right? And then I made like a comment about geopolitics because Chinese is very similar. It's disproportionate. It's disproportionate to its availability because of geopolitics too. It can impact the availability of people who want to release material for stuff. That's very, very not a big coincidence that you would mention you should bring that up. And Liam and I actually had some of that discussion, or I brought it up actually, which obviously you and I tend to consider things very cool. It's not coincidentally share pre-selection tendencies or bringing up the same topic. In the end, you just learn the Cyrillic alphabet, but now lack practice. Oh, so you already know the Cyrillic alphabet. Interesting. Yes, even though you don't agree with or support Russian current political climate, that hasn't changed how you feel about the language. I think that's a very cogent statement that the two of you have, right? It's one of those things you can still appreciate the things that are depart like separate them from other types of influences. Not that I can say I'm not a stranger to when I was playing video games that came up quite a lot. The idea of liking something that exists attached to the overall climate of things. Obviously, if you guys probably as fellow language learners, it would be wonderful if everyone got along, you know. Russian and German are probably on the top of your list in terms of new languages you want to start learning. You don't see yourself starting Chinese until you improve your Japanese considerably. That sounds like an excuse. I sound like I'm taking that personally. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Start whenever you feel like it, okay? Japanese considerably. Okay. Language is a tool to bring people together and to a common understanding. That is such a wonderful sentiment. I feel people lose sight of that sometimes. But I like to believe that when there are individuals who decide to learn a language, right? That they share this similar outlook. Like your choice and your hobby and voluntarily trying to learn another language is you're trying to connect with other people, right? And that's amazing. That's a great way to wrap up the sentiments that I was trying to share when we're bringing up obviously geopolitics and whatnot. All right. Meanwhile, Gecko, I feel like I took that personally. I feel attacked. Kidding. But really, not starting Chinese until your Japanese improves considerably. Yikes. Well, aren't we a fancy standard person? Alright, I've been staring at this for a while now. Let's see.
Hantai.
Wait. Don't I know you like to learn both Chinese and Japanese side by side, as they can also reinforce it. As for you, you pretty much had to stop watching your Hanza Hero stream videos. Too much confusion in your brain? Listen. It's a skill issue. Okay, I'm kidding. It's understandable. I actually find myself I think the Hanza Hero is overpowering the WaniKani right now. So occasionally, like right now, I'm resisting so hard from writing what I think I'm going to write, which is Qing Qingnian. Like immediately when I saw this, I wanted to write Qingnian as opposed to I have to think about it. Is this special? Aotoshi? No. Man, Qingnian would have been great. Oh, I don't even know what that looks like if I typed Qingnian. Hold up. It would end up being... No, that doesn't work. I was curious what it looks like if I just type the pinyin out, and that is wild. Just regular onyomiri, yeah. I figured. We default to Juku goals most of the time. So seinen.
Seinen.
Which makes sense. When you hear seinen, you hear youth, right?
Sakubun.
It's not quite it, but I'm referring to a piece of composition. So, fine. We'll use that as a safeguard.
Forty-two.
Was there a joke about 42 that I don't understand? Wait. Does 42 have a significance to you guys by any chance? Like maybe in a Japanese way? I feel like sometimes there's something I don't understand, but especially by the number choice that they occasionally pick. Is this like a meme or something? Like I don't understand. Was there something they try to explain this? Was 42 the 42 wasn't the coding thing, right? The math thing, right? That was a different number. Oh, it was the hitchhike. Okay, so 42 was the Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy thing, right? That's the only place that I knew about 42. Is it that same 42? Okay, it is that same 42. All right. I thought I was a boomer for thinking that. Okay. Like there are only a couple numbers that I'm familiar with, which is 42, 24. Yeah, not specifically Japanese, yeah. I thought it might have been, right? Like I'm trying to entertain myself because it's like it's WaniKani, maybe 24. I mean maybe 42 is somewhat important to Japanese in a way I don't understand. The only one that I think of is Japanese number is 469. Oh really? What does that mean? Is common? Interesting. 469. And then there's 20, right? 20 is kind of important too because it's not 21, it's 20. But 469, what does that involve for Japanese? Yeah, most of the time, you know, in English it'd be 21, 18, something, and real things. But you know, and then there's 420, which is not relatable in Japanese, right? 420, that joke, haha 420. but I often feel like a boomer whenever I'm thinking about number memes. Like, do people even watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or know about it anymore? Like, is that a thing still? uh Oh, come on. Did they go with eat? Alright. We'll add that as a backdrop. It's fine. Fine. Just in case. Oh, no. We're thinking of something else. Which one are you? Boil or burner? Boil. I think I had burner as a... Oh, no, I didn't. We'll just add burner as a... Whoops, not burner. Burner as a backup. You have the collection of books on your shelf waiting to read and gathering dust. Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioning that. I feel like I brought up Hitchhiker Guide to Galaxy once. I'm not sure if it was you. I'm pretty sure it was you that I thought you might have at least... You've seen the movie, right, Gecko? I think the movie is pretty... It might have not aged that well, but I think it's pretty great. Had they recently remade Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy? I don't think so. I'm thinking of like the classic Hitchhiker. What, the classic as in the older, the one and only. I'm not sure if they've ever remade it. 469 Yonroku Q. Japanese like to take the first mora of a compound word and splice them together to say things more succinctly. Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, 4649. Okay. Okay. So what is that then? Yonroku Shikyu or Yonroku Yonkyu? Okay, Yonkyu, okay. I was gonna say like maybe there's some secret change up or something. Oh, it becomes Yoroshiku. Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh. Neat. Oh, that's cool. That totally makes sense. Yoroshiku. I'm trying to think if there's a Chinese thing there that I am aware of with numbers. Not really. I'm too uncultured for that. Other than your classical things like cultural relevance and spiritual relevance to specific numbers. Other than that, no. There is this weird thing with 7. There is this weird thing with 7, but it deals with the sound of 7. I think there was a Chinese meme about LeBron James. Are you talking about the John Cena thing? Or, oh no, like LeBron James like dealing with numbers? Oh, interesting. I'm not sure. The only thing that kids yell at me for Chinese these things is Bing chilling, which is ice cream. And every time Bing chilling comes up, I'm like, oh jeez. Like in the vocabulary. I'm still waiting for Hanzahiro to say Bing chilling. And I'm like, oh, save me. Although Hanzahiro, the person, Kevin who writes Hanzahiro stuff, he already did like the over 9,000 meme. So he decided to choose 9,000 as a way to introduce 1,000. Tian, right? So 刘谦. But no Chinese ones that I can think of with numbers. I figured. Oh no, whoops. That's that's not even the right thing. That's not even
冬休み
Yasumi. By the way, to get back to what you were saying earlier, French can be pretty easy to learn as you don't try to pronounce it. What do you think I'm gonna do here? Just like do it without saying a single word? I guess I could start a new trend called learning French muted. Mute French stream. Especially now that you're on Spanish, I'll have you understanding some French sentences in no time. Yeah, yeah. So I'll just never say anything in French. I'm okay with that. Nunca, nunca, nunca. Nunca hablo. Uh, holiday. Biru. Ah! Oh no, that's Doru. I blame Gecko for the French comment. It's all on you.
言う
Okay. Are we going straight to no, right? We're going to say. B for bear.
「北西」
Okse. Ah!
色
No. Sir. Sir. Honestly, I don't know how to say pig yet. But this is, I guess, raw. Raw is default to pig, actually. Raw. Yo, gallantly be your scapegoat. At this point, all I can picture right now is one of those goats from Goat Simulator with the beret on top of their head winking at me right now.
豚肉
Danik. Ne? Uh. Wait. Oh. What? Wait. What? Wait. Oh.
対策
I kept typing socks for sack. I was trying to get sack, but I keep typing socks. That only WaniKani things. Only WaniKani things. Don't worry about it. If you're thinking about sacks and socks, you know what I mean. I was thinking socks, you know? You know, like sock stockers. Like stuffing, you know, a sack sock. Sorry, I realized I typed Soku over and over again, even though I was thinking of a sack. Ghost Simulator? You actually played Goat Simulator? Jeez. You're far more edgier than I am. My word.
元
So,
水色
Yuiro.
工作
Osaku. You did, and it was actually fun, believe it or not. Granted, you did not put 100 hours into it. I heard it was fantastic. It was so fantastic that Coffee Stain Publishing Group and Coffee Stain Studio ended up picking up that group that did that, I'm pretty sure. Or they picked up a different group, I think, and then got them to work on Goat Simulator 3. Did you play Goat Sim 3 at all? I think that was the history. I have a history with Coffee Stain Publications, and then how I know about the people who worked on Goat Sim 3. Coffee Stain did the stuff. It's their studio. I played their first game, their first series game, Sanctum 1, 2, and mobile. And then now they're the people, the same group that's holding up Satisfactory, which I haven't been able to play yet. I would love to totally do Satisfactory with like 2 or 3 dedicated people, maybe in way down the line. Maybe have 2 or 3 people, perhaps a French, Japanese. I'm kidding, but it would. Oh, that would be the dream. You know, have dedicated peeps from different primary languages. That would be. No, you only played the original. Oh, okay.
会う
Okay. This is pretty chill now. I don't know what it is about having a good chat, you know? And then oops. Wait. Wait. Oh my gosh, I keep typing the wrong thing. What? Oh, no. Oh. I keep typing the wrong thing.
300
Jeez. It took me so long to type the right thing. This is where autocorrect has ruined my life. Autocorrect is such a crutch to me. Nah, I'm kidding. I'll work on it.
Kaisha
Yeah, it's become so relaxed now. I like chilling and talking and whatnot. This is a review day, so none of the new stuff is coming back around yet. So I'm not like doing the, oh, I don't know, I shouldn't know this yet kind of thing.
敬意 お金
お金
他人
他人 Oh, 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 we have 10 minutes left. Oh, oh no. Okay, I need to go to the bathroom. Fine.
食べ物
食べ物
勝ち
勝ち Just smooth sailing, right? Smooth sailing.
ひらがな
Nakana. And then yeah, we're still. Oh, these are the new ones. Some of these are the new ones.
部
Ooh. Eh. Ne? Hold. This is different. When I pause, it's because there's something different about this. And let's think about this for a moment. It sounds so bad if I'm saying Mimiuchi. Oh no, it actually sounds okay. It sounds okay when I just said that Mimiuchi. No, that sounds okay. I rely so much on my sound.
耳打ち
Mimiuchi. What? Strike the ears? Whisper in the ear? Whisper, yeah. Whisper in ear. Okay, whatever. You found WaniKani can be very relaxing at times when you're on top of it. On the other hand, if I don't do any due diligence and struggle on more words, it can be another story. Yeah, fair. I think Liam, a chat helps me focus quite a lot. Like, sometimes I'm kind of high strung when I start the day, so lots of mania. I can't tell you how much discussions help focus a lot of my tangential thoughts quite a lot. Conversation to me is when you're having like intellectual discussions, it involves a lot of resources, and those resources help me focus on everything. When things become like really chill, like not in a relaxing way, but chill as in a non-taxing way, like you're not being taxed on thinking about things, my mind tends to wander very aggressively. I mean, I made the same typo like 4 or 5 times in a row. Like it's one of, like I typed soku like 5 times in a row saying saku in my head, like it's either saku or sa for that character, and I typed soku like 4 times in a row. So what goes through my head is like, oh, soku, and I'm like, wait, that's wrong. It's like, I thought I typed saku, and then immediately afterwards in the next split second I'm like, oh, it's saku, and I typed soku again. So I didn't focus on the task. I wasn't doing my due diligence, like I wasn't focused. So oftentimes conversation kind of helps me. Conversation has so many things going on that you can have a lot of different things coming into the conversation from different angles. So it feels like you're really in it instead of doing one task. Isn't that interesting how conversations that go all over the place can actually help you focus? Yeah, it really is. I think it's something that I feel I said this time and time again. I said this the last 3 days because I was doing the wrap up the 100-day review on Hanzo Hero, and I made comment about lack of focus, right? What I mean by that is like the whole spectrum argument where people think that they can't focus. Because they can't focus, then they can't do dedicated tasks, and one type of dedicated task that is involved with a lot of things going on is actually conversation. But that's not the reality that a lot of people live in. They believe conversation is incredibly focused, as in if you don't stay on one train of thought, you cannot hold conversation, and that creates a period of anxiety, right? That anxiousness. But it's for myself, the way I have come to terms, not to say that I am on the spectrum or anything, come to terms and elevate conversation is having a lot of interesting things that can be related to the topic at hand, and that's where my focus has become. So when I need to do a task for 8 hours straight, I have spent many years of my life culturing myself to the extent where if this task is boring or you're being too relaxed, as in not engaged, you would have random distractions everywhere constantly. Instead, all those random distractions now become something relevant to the thing. So having conversations is very similar, where if I want to keep on being interested in the conversation, I try my best to find as many things to work on that's relevant to it. So getting to know the person is the ultimate goal. If I have to talk to someone, I immediately get as many information. I mean, Liam was really kind to be able to answer my like barrage of questions, largely because the moment I get a lot of things I can talk about, it can relate to a lot of the random thoughts I have. So then the conversation ends up being pretty much all over the place, but still feel like it's focused, you know? It's like kind of focused. I mean, Procon and I, the last 3 days, we went from we spent like 4 to 5 hours talking about emergence and how the disciplines of physics, biology, and chemistry relate to each other as a layered discipline of physical sciences, and then drawing parallelisms to the layered system that is language from the baseline, the bottom line of linguistics and up, right? Sorry, that sounded like all over the place. It still relates to language learning. We're good. So relaxed. So relaxed. Okay. Man, what is it going to be? I look forward to your vacation adventure stories when you get back. Oh, speaking of which, Easter egg hunt. One Easter egg I would say is if you're able to see, I don't know what they are, the difference, but an alligator, if you see a gator in Florida. I don't think I've ever seen a gator, like, just chilling. So, not even at a zoo. I don't, at a preserve or a sanctuary or something. I don't think I've ever seen a gator. I was quite literally disc golfing in a place that could potentially have snakes and gators, but Easter egg hunt, a snake as well. Do you see like animals when you're on a ship? A ship of that size, like a cruise ship? I don't know if like cruise ships do things, or like those long traveling ships, they like deliberately like go in the path of very common areas where there's like aquatic life. I'm not sure if that's a thing. I haven't ever been on a large cruise ship. I've been on a seafaring thing, like a boat, like a skipper boat or something a lot smaller, but I don't know how the whole cruise thing, like oceanic voyages, are like when it comes to like being out in the ocean. What is the leader guarding? Wait, this isn't guarding, this is standing. That's why. Okay.
売り上げ、
売り上げ。ね?
気持ち
Emoji. You'll keep your eyes out for gators. But oh, thanks, Curdle. Oh, there, Curdle. But you'll be in downtown Miami, so you don't know what your odds are. This might not happen because I don't really know what to look for. But if you're going downtown Miami, it would be kind of fun if you can find Gecko. If you can take a picture of something that showed up in GTA 6's trailer. It might be a little late for that, but I'm thinking like a coastline in Miami. I think you might be able to, but like pick like pick a scene. You know, you look through the GTA trailer, right? And then you go out and you take a picture, and then when you come back, you would like pick that part and put your picture next to it. It's like nailed it. I think there's one that if you're going to Miami, I've been in Miami briefly, for like a day, and then we went up to Fort Lauderdale after that, which is north, not too that far north of Miami. But I can think of specific things in that GTA trailer that you probably will encounter, and that'd be kind of a fun thing. It's like, hey, look, GTA 6 confirmed or something. Not really. Birds would actually be the most common to see, but not in the middle of the ocean, as we'll be crossing the Atlantic. For sea life, you would have to get on smaller boats. I see, during a port stop. That should probably be doable. You'll have to look at the trailer before going. If I bring back a picture, I'll post it on Discord. Nice. And you can be cheeky about it. Basically, if you took a picture of a palm tree in front of a building that is clearly from Americana, that probably, and that's got to be somewhere in a GTA 6 trailer. But I have one specific in mind, and there is a gator. There's also a gator in the GTA 6 trailer, so that'd be a fun little thing to do. Adding value. Yeah, my Friday is going well, Curdle. How are you doing? How have you been, Curdle? It's been some days. What are you up to, Curdle? Let's see.
Nigate.
Got it.
屋上、
屋上。
角。
角。 Oh. What? Da. Oh. Ara. Araka. Arakaji me. Arakaji me. Arakaji me.
あらかじめ
What was I typing? Yeah, see, this is what I mean by getting too lax and attention span. I don't know what I kept typing. Yeah, it's been some days and just been gaming. What have you been playing, Turtle? And taking some time for yourself, really? Very nice, very nice. You actually have a dilemma too from work. Basically, do I go to Hawaii for work or have a chance to stay at work, do another trip? But if people get trained fast enough, you can go home instead and go to a wedding. Whoa, that is a dilemma. Choosing to do fun things, that's a great dilemma to have. So, how are you going about negotiating that? Those are some choices, I tell ya. On the one hand, from what you shared recently, if you're able to go to Hawaii and interact with other people, that'd be fantastic. Especially if you had like a coworker or something. But then you have the option of going back, training fast, and going home. So that's family, right? Family, and then going to a wedding, meeting new people that you might know, and that sounds like something that could be very wonderful experience. It can also obviously be middling and difficult, but sounds like you have opportunities for companion, right? Like meeting people, chilling. That sounds like it's an excellent. I honestly, that sounds like a great dilemma to have, choosing what to look forward to. Gaming, huh? Gaming. Weather in Miami looks nice and warm, so you're looking forward to that too. I need to get some vitamin D in your bones after the grayness of the Belgian winter. Is it not shiny right now? I do want to visit Belgium. Belgium sounds like a wonderful place. Like Belgium, what else? Like I know this might sound a little like, oh, what a pedestrian choice, but it's like Switzerland and Belgium. That's more my speed. And then like in the east side of things, like Singapore, Malaysia, and Japan, because Japan's right there. But I think that's kind of sort of possibly not the same thing anymore from how I view it. I think Belgium's pretty nice, but don't come for the weather. Yeah, you'll have 2 workers for Hawaii, but also that's if you can go home. If not, you'll be staying at home doing the job at some not so great. But the goal is to go home wedding. I see. Fortnite and a bit of League of Legends. Ooh. How's your blood pressure, Curdle? I'm kidding. Is Fortnite and League chill for you, or is that more of a couple monster drinks and some anger management? Like what I mean is like not in a bad way, but in like a hyped overstimulated way. Fortnite and League of Legends. Think stereotypical London weather. That's pretty much what you get too. Oh really? But you have like mountain ranges and fjords and lakes. Don't worry, I'll bring a raincoat. You know, maybe an oversized poncho or something. I'm all for that raining. Heck, I like jogging in the rain. I got you. Gloom doom, let's go. It's in a good way though. Games are always chill for me. Okay, for you. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, I play video games sometimes for the opposite. You know, sometimes life can be a little too chill. Gotta get that blood boiling. That blood boil every once in a while. Not right now. The blood boil. Literally turn green. Kidding. Kidding. Turn into Hulk smash. The heck? Accept the pose? Oh no, accept attach? Oh. Uketsuke.
受付
羽
ね。
物語
物語。You don't think it's Belgium you're thinking of? We got no such thing as mountain ranges and fjords. One of the Belgian nicknames is actually the flat country. Oh, I'm not thinking about the same country. What am I thinking of? Have you read... Oh, am I thinking of the Netherlands? I think I'm thinking of the Netherlands. Speaking of Netherlands... I think I'm thinking of Netherlands. Flat country, huh? I guess I'm gonna have to bring some, like... Do you have go-karts or something? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. But flat country, huh? Well, we're gonna have to take advantage of the flatness of your country. Wait. Is it like Ohio flat? Do you know the whole idea? Do you know the whole thing about Ohio? Where, like, if you drive on the main interstate and you look through the horizon, you can't see the end of the horizon because it's that flat. Are we talking about like that type of flatness? Where you're like walking and you can't see the horizon, like the end of the horizon because it's too flat. Like the natural Earth's curvature is going out of sight. Let's see. Okay.
苦しむ
Oh, here's the other 52. Yeah. Is it 8? Yeah. I've been pulling my duration here. Oh, and then I forgot, we have to refresh to get that thing to go up. But you get me, we always get questions at CrossFit, or it's just like an icebreaker kind of thing, but what's one skill you would want to be good at if you could learn it instantly? Oh, I did get this question before too. I don't think that person's around anymore, but I do get this question instantly. When, like, in what realm of skill? Are we talking about like CrossFit? Where are we going with this? I mean, it's kind of a cop-out thing, but one skill, how big skill? Like what are we talking about skill? Because like it's whatever you want. Maybe I say language because it's been you've been inspired by me. Oh yeah, someone asked me what if I could gain the omnipotent knowledge of one language, and my answer was something like, well, it kind of takes the fun out of acquiring the language, huh? Having like an end goal wish thing is tough for me because the process is the most rewarding part. So if we were to restrict it to language when it's skill, oh, this is more like a biology thing. So we'll phrase it in the form of a skill. I want to instantly gain, we're gonna entertain this, right? Instantly gain the ability to speak without exhaustion. I no, but then the skill has to be realistic. So, being maybe see, we can't gain these things. We sometimes they're more like born things, but maybe like instantly having the most durable vocal cords of all time. Or seasoned vocal cords or something like that. Basically I'm trying to think of a skill that is foundational to the things I do every day so I can enjoy them even more in acquiring them, is what I typically work on skills. Skills I work on in a lifetime are the most cross-applicable skills I can have. Speaking is one of them. Empathy is another. Because there's no shortage of people I can meet. I could spend my entire life meeting people, and I would still die not meeting everyone in this world. So, anything that bolsters that, it relates to many other things. So I'd probably pick a skill. Like, hear me out. I can't answer the one skill, but I'm gonna take you through my process. What are the things going through my head if I were to gain it instantly? Something that undercuts all the foundations of the processes I love to do in my life. So speaking is one of them. So I ask myself, what keeps me from speaking? What keeps me from speaking? That's, I don't have the greatest control over my voice, so sometimes eventually my voice gives out. So that prevents me from doing a substantial number of things. What's another skill? Seeing without my eyes blazing over. So perhaps if there's a skill out there to increase the durability of my eyes, that would be really wonderful. Another skill is probably to sleep more efficiently. If I'm able to sleep more efficiently, that would be fantastic too. Have an intuitive command of my macros in order for better health, like, because it undercuts everything else. So I would probably pick a life skill that's fundamental to me, that makes everything else, contributes to everything else to the betterment. So most of the time it's not the downstream effectors, but the fundamentals. So good night's sleep would be the instant skill, would be an insanely cool instant skill. Having the absolute pristine sleeping hygiene instantly acquired. It's probably one of the greatest things that I would wish everyone would be allowed to have. If I had like some sort of magical insight or some scientific super genius team of people who can provide that to anyone, even work on it for like 10 years of their life. If I told you, if you dedicated 10 years of your life and you can get that skill of instant, consistent, or not instant, but consistent sleep hygiene, that would be kind of one of those things. So that's the process I'm going through. If I had one skill, answer those $1 million questions. How to guarantee a good night's sleep, how to recover from physical trauma and mental trauma. excellent skills to have. Those are the skills I work on every day, regardless if it's learning Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, playing video games. Your underlying thing that you're working on is trying to consult and feed your own satisfaction, or like your own reward and value. So any of those skills that tie to your own well-being are skills that I would probably consider are among the top 10 of instant skills that I would want. And I would want, honestly, that's a little too selfish. I want the skill. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone on here, figuratively. I want that skill to be transferable. I want to have that skill that is transferable to other people. That would be so goated. So I would want to be able to teach the skill, to teach myself to have the best sleep, most consistent sleep hygiene ever. Because if I could teach myself that skill instantly, I can also have the ability to teach others that skill. And that I'm basically metagaming myself at this point. It's kind of like you rub a genie, and then you have to be like conditionally specific about your wish. It just gets deeper and deeper the more I think about this. And lots of people have when I ask, are you sure you want like to ask it that blanketly, like do you want to be more specific? So that question kind of leads into a very deep rabbit hole where they're trying to be more specific about things. Yeah, Netherlands is actually even worse. Oh, it's not Netherlands then. Never been to Ohio, but no, we do not have. You do have some hilly terrain. Oh, but your highest point is only about 700 meters above sea level, you think? Oh, okay. So no fjords, no mountain ranges, but some hills. Netherlands is actually even worse. What am I thinking of? Have you remember Gecko? Have you read you read Faults in Our Star, right? Where did they go? What country did they go? You think the highest point is only around 300 meters above? Interesting enough, the name of the Netherlands in French is Les Pays-Bas, which means lowlands. Okay. Fjords would be more associated with Nordic. Oh, maybe it's Sweden. Nordic countries. The British Isles have famous cliffs. As for mountains, the most famous one would be around Switzerland. Oh, I might be thinking about Switzerland. It's probably Switzerland. It's probably Switzerland. Hold up. Where did they go? Oh, it's Amsterdam. Wait, Amsterdam is Netherlands? It's not a fjord. I'm not saying they have fjords, but wait. Am I a pep? Isn't Amsterdam in Netherlands? Yeah, I'm thinking of Amsterdam. So I'm not talking about like mountain ranges, but I'm thinking of this very, very specific like scene in the Netherlands, and it's probably Amsterdam is what I'm thinking of. So not all of Netherlands, but just Amsterdam. Canals, windmills, other than that, I'm not sure. Yeah. So I'm thinking of a very specific image of Amsterdam, which is not representative of the rest of Netherlands. But it's good to know that Netherlands is actually even flatter and lower to sea level. Oops.
Norimono.
Norimono. Okay. That's funny. I have where I live, it's very difficult to see the horizon. Although, granted, the state I live in is, let me see what's Belgium's surface area here. About 12. Okay, about we'll just say 31,000 square kilometers. Okay, 4 times bigger. So, granted, wherever I live is 4 times bigger than Belgium, but lots of hills. We're along where I live is along what remains of one of the biggest mountain ranges in North America, next to like the Rockies. So the Rockies are like properly jagged, and I often in my own way call the Appalachian Mountains Appalachian Hills because they're like quite smooth. While they get really high and like seemingly the elevations change quite a lot, it's fairly gradual due to like erosion and all that. Florida. Florida's flat, right? I think Florida's flat, if not sinking. Below sea level? Is there any? I feel like there's parts of Florida that's below sea level, like inland, like swamps and stuff. The Netherlands actually have long been fighting against the sea to claim more land. I think over half of the country's areas reclaim land. Pretty interesting. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's what made me thought about Florida and like sinking, like areas that are dipping below sea level. So you're gonna start losing land. Did you? I bet you know this, Gecko. Did you read back in the day the history of the White House? Yeah, it's the Netherlands with palm trees and Yankee Doodle, right? Oh, and spice in some of that Latina life in the Caribbean, and less bicycle paths. Oh yes, less bicycle paths and not enough traffic infrastructure. I hope the traffic is going to be agreeable when you're there, but not enough traffic infrastructure. Ooh, do I gotta tell you that it took longer to travel like a distance of like 5 kilometers than it took like 150 kilometers from where we were entering. Like, hooey, Miami, downtown Miami is a gridlock city. If you're walking, all good, all good. But bicycle paths, no, I didn't see bicycle paths. So walking. There is there's wings though. Oh, the wings. Now I'm talking about chicken wings. Here. Sorry for any vegetarians. Gecko, you're not a veg. Are you vegetarian? Oh no, wait. We talked about sushi before. Never mind. Just kidding. You mentioned sushi before. Are you a Presbyterian? You'll be staying downtown, walking and using public trans, which is pretty decent as long as you stay near the city center. Yes. I have been told public trans get you got leeway when it comes to public trans. Personal vehicles, not so much. Not so much for personal vehicles. Not a vegetarian, looking forward to some genuine American burgers. Ooh, what is your Americana burger look like? What does that sound like? Wait, by the way, do Belgians do burgers similarly? Is smash burgers a thing? That's I don't know how long it's been since you visit the United States. Anywhere there's a smash burger, do it. Do it. You gotta hit up that viral stuff. Smash burgers. That's where it's at. I'm not sure if Europeans are into that because and I'm not saying not just Belgium, but there's often a disparity between having the integrity of the meat, right, altered dramatically by the cooking process and the texture process. So that often filters in much more than the United States. And the smash burger is it can look almost sacrilegious. So, but it's like in my opinion, it's the most viral, ubiquitous association with Americana burgers now. Smash burgers, smash patties. So I don't know if you've had a smash burger yet lately. I'm not sure if it made it to Belgium. I don't know where it came from. I'm not saying it came from the United States, but I'm not sure if it took hold in Belgium or other places around Belgium. So good. Oh my gosh. Now I want a smash burger. I have to go to like New York to get to hit like a Shake Shack or something for a smash burger. I don't know what's in Florida, but I'm practically salivating right now.
Kanemochi.
Kanemochi. That should be part of your yeah. Oh man, you gotta give me tell me more about your food thing. I need more. I need more to work with. All right, we got Americana burgers, right? Probably have to have something that's. Where do you go for a good smash burger? If you're on the East Coast, you hope for a Shake Shack or something. Like we're talking about. This would be Shake Shack would be something that is agnostic to the state. So Shake Shack is large enough that you might be able to find it independent of the state. On the East Coast. On the West Coast, honestly, you probably don't even need to go for a smash burger. In-N-Out is pretty good. Pretty wild. And then there's Five Guys, which they don't do smash burgers. But I think Shake Shack is pulling up that smash burger. Otherwise, you would have to look for a local place, and then they would advertise they have a smash patty or something. You do have smash burgers, but it's still a pretty new, trendy thing here. I see. You'll most certainly be eating some taco. Oh, some tacos. Five Guys is pretty good. Yeah. I'm not sure if Five Guys have caught on and said we're gonna do smash patties as well. But I think the whole idea of smash patties is a wonderful combination of texture, right? Texture, and then taking advantage of the Maillard effect, like how to get that mouth feel. So it's quite nice. But a standard, wonderfully grilled on the spot, like Five Guys and stuff, is great. However, they aren't like when I was mentioning the smash burger, it's one of those things like, oh, now you can get a chance for the trend. And I think in the United States, many metropolitan areas, so if you're going to a major city in nearly anything along the East Coast and the West Coast, one of the things that people pick up as an experience, like a visiting experience, is probably a smash burger. Then you can go back and like Five Guys and whatnot, because those are solid. They're consistent things. In terms of where to get a smash burger that is like independent, as in wherever in the United States, Shake Shack is the one that I think of that is the largest chain on the East Coast. I don't actually know what the largest chain on the West Coast that consistently provides a smash burger. Other than that, then it's time to Google, right? Like Google Maps, and then find out where. But alternatively, buy ground meat, smash them yourself. It's really such a wonderful thing, and it makes eating a burger less messy, unless they make it messy. But you're trying to get your hands on a smash burger, I know there are Shake Shacks, yeah, nearby, but there is no lack of restaurants in the area. Yeah, so you should go, like, if you find a place that serves them. I actually think smash burgers are more common not in a franchise. So what I mean is, I think places like Shake Shack Shake Shack is exotic in a way. It's one of the exceptions. Most franchises do not incorporate those type of things so quickly. So you're more likely to find a smash patty place outside. Bami, he's going to Florida, Hoang, but Bami is pretty solid in Florida. Huh. And then tacos. Bria. Oh my gosh. Oh no, not Bria. Birria. Sorry, Birria. Oh my gosh. Go get a. Yes. You gotta get a birria. Any form of birria if you're in Florida, because you have the opportunities for like Caribbean / Latina tacos. Birria. Oh my gosh. When in Rome, eat all the viral stuff. Viral stuff not for the sake of novelty, but all the viral stuff for both potentially novelty and taste and experience. Bami is, I'm not sure how big the bami scene is in Miami. Bami is a solid viral sandwich though in the United States. Like any hipstery, like most hipstery metropolitan area will have bami as well. And biryani for Indian. Kebabs definitely will have kebabs. So I'm thinking of like all the current widely trendy stuff. Cultural hubs, metropolitan cultural hubs in the United States is all about the trendy stuff. And not that they're like tourist trap stuff. I mean, like, it is great for business when you have your version of that. You're only staying for 3 nights, so there'll be some choices me. Oh, okay. You all have your own dilemmas. Isn't that so great to have dilemmas on how well you can enjoy your life? Okay, hear me out. I don't want any of you being that maximalist pessimism stuff, okay? Like, oh, but I can't get them. I want to know the best or maximize my thing. No. We're talking about if you do any of them, life is good. So what I mean, it's a fun dilemma to have is all of these things are good. It's not a competition. Because sometimes I feel like when people go on vacation, they think about what is the way to maximize their vacation. And what happens is when it falls below that max, you come back and often people will say, oh, I regret not doing this. Oh, I'm so unhappy that this didn't happen. Oh, I planned this and it didn't happen, so my ideal vacation is ruined. I want to make it clear. It's a great dilemma to have when you know that life has so much things to offer and you get to pick which one to have, right? Bami sandwiches, oh geez, like metropolitan area, if I go to New York, I would have a bami sandwich, right? A bami sandwich next to spicy mayo kimchi tater tots, next to my birria, any birria, and next to my container of halal, anything from a halal stall, right? And then I would instantly regret eating all of that and having like very big indigestion, but it was totally worth it. And then obviously when in New York, you got to get at least a bubble tea. like at least something on the level of like a tiger sugar boba tea. Wash it all down, and then you know, stop by the local Chinese bakery to get some egg tarts, all to like wash that down, you know. I didn't even get to the noodles. Day 2 would be noodles, probably. We got to get some noodles in there. Got to get some newts, some dumplings, and then dim sum, right? Then hit up some pho. Right, hit up some pho. Find a stall that is preparing some kebabs. That's it. Just keeps going. I'm not hungry. You're hungry. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Whoops.
決定する
Yum yum, all sounds good. Alright, you're going to bed? Now hungry? Okay, okay. It's late here, even if tomorrow's Saturday. Not sure you'll be back before you leave. Otherwise, you'll report upon your return. Yeah, take care, Gecko. Good luck with packing, getting ready. Safe travels, right? Safe travels. Make reckless decisions. Reckless decisions in all make reckless win-win decisions for your family and whatnot, and hopefully everything is safe and right. Safe travels. And if I don't see you, I'll hear all about it when you get back. Thank you for sharing. Um
文字通り
Thanks, and you keep up the good work with language learning and the rest. You'll have some catching up to do when you get back. All the more things to look forward to, you know? All the more things to look forward to. And I look forward to your tales. Your monogatari. Mucho monogatari. Oyasumi nasai. Yoko. Hasta luego. Okay.
本物
Mono. Ah! Wait. Oh.
見物
Inputs.
"はじめに
Hajime ni. What do you usually get as a burger choice, Curdle? I gonna be honest, it's been so long. I think the next burger I'm probably going to have is sometime in August when I go to the Otakon. Burgers don't come by too often.
変
And uri? Uri
売り手
Enbutsu and also Mimono? I think that's actually in it. I think they might write both in it. I just combined. I accidentally wrote. I did a kun own by accident out of sheer habit, but I think they accept both when they try. Isn't one like more casual and the other one's more formal in writing or something? Is that how they distinguish between Kenbutsu and Mimono? Maybe like Mimono is literature specific or something. I find that's the most that's the more common explainer. Like Yami, what was it? Yami something. Mount Yami Michi, right? Yamamichi. Yamamichi versus Sando. Yamamichi and Sando. Freddy's is pretty good in East Coast. Freddy's? I'm not sure if I have a Freddy's name. The closest thing I have here is frozen custard. Oh, having a nice frozen custard next to a steaks burger. That's actually, there is one really nearby. I'll have to. Intriguing. There is one kind of nearby, Freddy's. The closest we have here is Five Guys in terms of like the overall consistent joints. Oh hey, the daily Twitch bot finally arrived, reminding me that I'm also on Twitch, live on Twitch. Slightly different meanings, I can imagine. Yeah, Liam. Whoops. Hey.
Chodoi.
Chodoi. Just right.
欠かす
Asu.
比べる
比べる Son of a bee sting. Hey, hang on. Oh yeah.
試す
Amesu.
入所
入所
安売り
Yasuri. Eh?
負け犬
Einu. Oh, I typed. Wait. Oh, yeah.
気づく
Izuku. Attention. Okay.
見送る
Yokuru.
保持する
Ochi suru. Wait.
見事
Migoto. Migoto. Okay.
気持ちいい
Kimochi. Okay. Just went over this.
仕返し
Gaeshi.
Shūchū suru.
集中する。集中する。
時々。
時々。Making sure. Okay.
仕事
仕事。
売り切れ
売り切れ。
買い物
買い物。Oops. And those.
乗り場。
乗り場。
入学試験
入学試験。あ。That took a little bit.
新た。
新た。発売中。
発売中
発売中。発売中。
生物学
生物学。Ah! That's not. Wait. No. Cheese. So many typos. uh.
転がす
転がす。
心持ち
心持ち。
帰る
帰る。
使い方、
使い方。All right. We got like 4 today. There's some earlier ones. Yeah, there are some earlier ones. We really gotta go to the bathroom, but we'll do it as we transition to Hanzihiro. We're on a 2. Yeah, we have. So tomorrow I gotta squeeze in a tiny folks segment probably. I got second peak day coming up soonish. All right. My bladder. All right, let's go over these. What do we got? Orders, humble, older brother, escalator, drunkard, skin, root, sound, hue, simple, blackjack, trash, and bear. All right, let's do our reads. Okay. Dare. Dare. So. I can. All right, we're just gonna. All right, we're just gonna. Next one for now. Den Ko. Den Ko. Roll. E. E. Sho. Betsu. Ri. Go. Yo. Gan. O. Yeah, we got slightly bummed on this. 2. She. Oh, no, that's not she. Hiro. She. Yo. Ko. Toku. Den. Do. Mi. Uh. It's like relationship. Oh, jeez. Yeah, Naka. Naka. Actually in the character. Oh, okay. All right. So, which one did I? Okay. Oh. Oh. I was thinking wrong. Okay. So run plus go, right? And then I thought of walk, which is this is run. So that's a Chinese thing. So Soko. Traveling. Then we had treasure. Ku? Oh. Takara. Lottery. Arrow to the mouth. So this was the hang up. This was the hang up. Arrow plus mouth. Oh, and this was a kanji. Chi. No. And then go and key. Oh. Which is also. Whoops. That was gross. Ugh. Gross. Yuki. Train direction. Okay. That's it for WaniKani today. 4 hours. 4 hours with a lot of fun discussions. Totally wonderful. Thank you again for everyone who's here and not here. As always, if you're gonna watch this later, arigatou gozaimasu. Right. You always feel welcome to drop your hot takes in the comments. You know, ask a question, be ready for the discussion, right? Or if you feel brave, come around, ask a question, be ready to discuss, right? Ask a question, stay for the discussion. I really like that. I think we're gonna make that a thing. That saying a thing. So for those who are only interested in Japanese, kyo arigatou gozaimashita. Arigatou gozaimashita as well. A ti. Muchas gracias a ti. 楽しかった。How do I say mismo? Yes, thanks. It was a pleasure. So for those who are only interested in Japanese, right? Minasan mata ne. Right. I'm gonna get up. I really need to take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be back for Hanzo Hero. So thank you.